Welcome back to another Roblox Studio tutorial. In today's video, we're going to start working on how to add a mining system into your game. What I have so far is a tool that you can pick up, and then when you head over to this rock here and use your tool to mine it, different parts pop out. You can add different colors to the parts that pop out to correspond with different materials. For example, the light gray could just be rock parts, the black could be something like iron, and the teal could be diamond. Alright, let's go ahead and dive in and see how we can do this in Roblox Studio. For this project, we're going to start off by making the mining tool. What I did for the mining tool was a combination of two different parts. The stick part is a cylinder, and this part right here is a wedge. So first we'll insert the cylinder part. And you can change the material and the color to whatever you want to. And you can also resize it to whatever size you like. After you have the stick part done, go ahead and insert a wedge part. And just like before, resize it to whatever shape you want. For my tool, I had to rotate this part to face up. Now I'm just going to connect the two parts. And once you have everything the way you want it, you want to select both parts and then head under the model section and press union. We're going to rename this union to handle. Next, we're going to insert a tool into the workspace. And we're going to move our handle part inside of the tool. The next part is going to require some trial and error. And what we're going to be doing is under the tool's properties and the appearance section, we're going to have to change some of these values here, just depending on how the player picks up the tool. But before we change that, let's just go ahead and take a look and see how he picks it up. Okay, so I'm going to have the player pick up the tool. And from this, I see that there's a couple things that I need to change. The first thing is I need to move the tool from a horizontal position to a vertical position, and then I need to adjust the grip position from the middle to the end of the stick. Okay, let's go ahead and start working on that. So what we're going to do is look under the tool's properties in the appearance section. The first thing I'm going to do is adjust this number right here. So I'm going to move it from the Z position to the Y position. Okay, so let's try a 1 in the Y position and see what happens. Okay, so that looks better. It's now in a vertical position, but I still need to change the grip from the middle to more towards the bottom. So to do that, we're going to go under grip position, and let's go ahead and try putting a -3 here. Okay, that's a little bit better, but now it's too high. So instead of -3, let's try -2. That looks pretty good. The only thing I notice now is the tool looks like it's coming from the middle of the player's arm. So let's go ahead and move it forward a little bit so it looks like it's attached to the hand. To do that, we'll change the Z position of the grip position. Let's go and start by just putting a 1 here. Okay, and that looks like the wrong value to change. So we know that the X position moves the part up and down in the player's hand. And we know that the Z position, it looks like it goes from left to right. So that means we need to change the Y position to go forward and backwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that Z position back to 0. And instead, let's go ahead and put a 1 in the Y position. Okay, so we can tell that was the right value because it moved it forward and backwards. But it went the wrong direction. We want it to go forward instead of backwards. So that lets me know instead of a +1 that we need a negative number. So back here, instead of +1, let's try -1. And that's closer, but it's a little bit too far, so let's try -0.5. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Depending on the size of your tool, the numbers in the appearance section are likely going to be different than what I have. What I would do though is just start with the grip forward and make it so that the tool points up and down, and then go under grip position and just change each one by one until you get it exactly where you want it. Once you finish up the tool, we're going to add a part into the game to serve as a rock. For this one, I just chose a normal block and then resized it into the shape right here. And for this video, we're not going to do anything too fancy for the script. We're just going to make it whenever the tool touches the rock, it'll print out something in the output. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take our tool and we'll add a script to it. Okay, so what we're going to do for this script is first we're going to create a reference for the tool. And then we're also going to make another variable called canMine. This script is very similar to the other video I did on basic weapons. It has two different functions that are connected to two different events. The first one is a tool activation, which happens when the player has a tool in their hand and then they click the mouse. And the other one is a touch event with the handle. This function right here, what this is doing, it's playing a slash animation whenever the player clicks the mouse. And it's also setting canMine equal to true so that we can mine the rock. And the other function is a touch event for the handle. So whenever the handle part of the tool touches something else in the game, what it's going to do first is going to check the other part's name to see if it's equal to rock. And I think I forgot to mention this, but what I call this part right here is rock. So whenever that tool touches the rock, this part will be equal to true. And then because the player activated the tool, canMine will be equal to true. So what we're going to do first is something very simple. We'll just print off the message, hit the rock. Okay, let's go ahead and run the code and check it out. Okay, so I'm going to pick up our tool. And I'm also going to open up the output section. And then when I click the mouse to swing the tool, we can see the message, hit the rock, in the output section. Okay, this is where we're going to stop for this video. And the next one, instead of just printing off the message, hit the rock, we're actually going to make it where objects pop out of the rock. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.